Does anyone have a question?
Stuart,
Yes?
um, when a when a person is going through an illness and you see them that you're losing them as far as who they are in this world, um, I find in this meditation, I see that it helps to communicate. I guess I would call it the higher soul. That even though you can't physically communicate with them the same way, you still can reach them through this work. And I would like if you can comment on that.
Uh, I've been doing that for 50 years now. I mean, look, this meditation touches on the deepest elements within a person. And for a person to do it correctly, it means they have to let go. And they also have to let go of the things that are creating the illness. And it really enables that energy to go so deep inside a human being that it transforms the negative quantity that creates illness into a positive energy, into chi, into energy of Shakti that moves through the chakra system and ultimately gives one the strength to do the most important thing of all. That's to open their heart. People are only really healed when they open their heart and there's love, kindness in them. That really is the ultimate state of healing. Yet people, just about, people have to get over all kinds of physical problems that they have. And yes, one can communicate to another human being without them even knowing it and transmit a healing energy into them that can save their life. You can do that. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I wrote a book called Leah. I don't know if you ever read that book. Leah, Story of Meditation and Healing. Well, it's all about this subject, Larry. Young woman who had was told by the doctor she had 3 weeks to live. She's 13 years old. And it's all about how uh, this meditation practice, while I was doing it with her, got her through the most traumatic elements of her sickness to where the doctors ultimately did an operation on her. First, they said there's nothing they could do. Then one day they went, my God, the tumor is shrinking inside her. And they did an operation. They came out dancing. We got the whole thing. We never saw anything like this. It was a product of months of literally doing meditation with this child almost every day. So you never know what can take place. There's also a thing in people where they truly want to live. And there's a purpose for them living beside getting another 5 years of life. The purpose is to become a child of God, have a spiritual life, to be a happy person, a happy human being, to not let, all that sorrow and unhappiness and, you know, take over, where we can build that system inside that is directly linked to a higher energy in the universe that gives us the strength to keep our hearts open, fill ourselves with love, with happiness, with the real purpose for being alive. So all of this amounts to a simple process. What do people learn when they go through serious illness? Do they have a real purpose for being alive, except spending another 10 years, 5 years, 20 years being unhappy? And if people come to that realization, because illness is an amazing effort one has to make to grow inside themselves to overcome it. You have to truly transform yourself inside to overcome it. And there's only one way I've learned to transform myself. That's to go to this higher force in the universe. Ask for help to build a chakra system that enables me to be strong enough to truly transform the things that are negative inside into positive energies. This is what healing is about. Healing is about becoming a child of God. Not about getting another 10 years to live. And if you become a child of God, my God, you can live for 10 minutes. And if you do it with thorough and total unconditional joy and love, your life is a complete success.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome. And you can't tell this to people, Larry. It just has to, if you know somebody who has that, just go and sit around them and open your heart and try to transmit some of that Shakti to them that's inside you. But don't talk, they'll freak out. You know, they don't understand a lot of this stuff. Maybe if they start growing a little bit, they will understand it. And maybe out of it will come a human being who truly works on themselves to grow and have a spiritual life. And even before I knew a lot of this stuff, when I was working on that young girl years ago, it was an unbelievable situation. You know, I knew somewhere deep inside me that she has to undergo a transformation that will turn her into a child of God, into a human being living with love and compassion and having a joyful life, a happy life, fulfilling their karma on the earth. Now, often trauma of that nature forces people to learn how to do this. I mean, I've said it before. I'll say, the Buddha said, I didn't say, the Buddha said, that's Stuart, suffering is the fastest path to God. And when I first read that, I said, why? Then I began to realize, yes, everybody suffers. Very few people do anything about it to change and grow inside themselves. And they spend a lifetime suffering. But people that say, okay, what is this teaching me? What do I have to learn to grow because of this pain and difficulty that I'm going through, this physical unhappiness I'm going through? And the suffering is really a very fast path to attain spiritual enlightenment. And I'm not saying we have to look for it, we all have it. Have you ever met anybody who doesn't suffer in one way or another? I have. I've known a lot of people. What they do with it is the key to transforming the negative quantity in oneself into a connection with God, with spirit, higher energy. And then there's, look, the ultimate goal is when a person learns to do what I'm talking about, they take full responsibility for their lives. They no longer complain about the difficulty. They do something about it. They can do something about it. Complaining never cured anybody. Learning how to build a system inside that's strong enough to transform the problem into an open heart, and doing something about it. That's nobility of soul. I mean, I grew up in a family that was a why me family. Oh my God, why am I going through this? Difficult. You know, I used to hear this from the time I was 3 years old. And even at a young age, I said, that's not the answer. Then I said, what is the answer? I had to find Rudy to teach me how to build an inner life that gave me the answer. Does anyone else have a question they would like? If you want to, I don't want to promote my books, but I will, okay? If you want to really read about how this meditation can effectually help to heal people, read that book, Leah, Story of Meditation and Healing. You can get it at Amazon. I mean, it's all about this, the transmission of Shakti, how to work in the transmission of Shakti, how it works inside people. I mean, it's a very interesting book. On top of it, it's like a love story, a novel, a book about unconditional love. Does anyone else have a question? And it has an introduction by a very famous movie star. Found me the publisher for that book. It's true, true story. Does anyone have a question? Anyone else have a question? Okay, well, God bless you all and thank you. And there'll be meditation on Sunday, this class. There's also one this evening that Jennifer will teach. Looking forward to seeing everybody soon. Have a wonderful weekend and God bless you.
Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.